Hi there, thought I'd come down to the woods and just try out a different tarp setup. So this time I'm only using half of the width of the tarp in order to be able to have a lean-to, but the other half is forming a ground sheet. Obviously there's not as much room underneath, but depends on your circumstances, this might be set up that you fancy. Anyway, so I've packed that up. I've got a couple of days here in Italy and I thought rather than tarp it, I might go for something a little bit more woodcrafty and a little bit more permanent. So I've decided to build a wood shelter out of natural resources, but I want to keep it stealthy. So I've observed the lie of the land here and I've noticed that there's quite a few collections of fallen, cut down trees and gathered into little piles. I thought, well, if I can build a shelter that mimics something like that, it'll be far less obvious. So over the last couple of days, that's exactly what I've done. Come with me and I'll show you where it is. Just there, that's my little cabin that I built. I've formed it out of a lean-to. I chose the large pine tree next to it, and there was a fallen pine tree. I've used that as a sort of side and then put timbers up on a lean-to. After making a frame and a lean-to, I put bark tiling down underneath. So I covered the entire surface with the bark. And then I've built up a lot of leaf litter and debris just to give an extra layer of insulation and obviously for concealment. Weaved the front here, tried to disguise it with some logs, and then the door itself was just I built a frame and then I've weaved twigs and debris and what have you to try and sort of conceal it. Yeah, so this is the front of the pen, and here's the door. Yeah, this is the door, basic sort of rectangular frame, bound with a few verticals, and then I've just weaved some horizontal birch twigs through there, and then I've stuffed it with leaves and grass just to sort of pad it out. It's not complete yet. This is it inside. I've built a bed. I've raised the bed off the ground, so there's some storage area underneath. 2 large logs there and some timbers across, and then there's the main pine trunk that had fallen, and my headboard is the pine tree there. So this is it inside. I've got a little area here for sorting out my gear, or I'm probably going to have a little cooking area here. This is the bed or bench, and I can store my bag and other bits and pieces underneath here. So, not a bad area, I think. With the door closed, it feels pretty secluded and cozy in here. I can see the sunshine coming through various gaps, but looking up at the roof, that looks pretty good. I'd say about 90% covered. Just see some small holes and the sky above. Yeah, I think I'd feel quite cozy in here. There's enough ventilation to have a little fire, I think, let the smoke percolate its way out without suffocating myself. And but I think it's secluded enough to stop most of the inclement weather. I thought I'd just show you this latest inflatable sleep mat that I've purchased. I'm really pleased with it. Here it is. It's pretty tiny. This is the smallest mat that I've seen so far. It's certainly the smallest one that I own, and I've bought this predominantly for bike packing because it is, just look at that, it's absolutely tiny, and it's very, very lightweight. And the other benefit is you don't have to blow into or have an inflation bag. It's got its own little inflation pump. So let's have a quick look at that. So it cost me about £25 from the internet through Amazon, and it's got an Isopho It's a pretty lightweight material, not overly robust, so I'd be very reluctant to put this directly onto any rough surface. Okay, so here's the pump, little hand pump, and it's got 2 valves, an inlet and an outlet valve. So I'm going to close the left hand valve, and now I'll just inflate that. See how many pumps that takes to inflate. Well, actually that didn't take any time at all. Probably less than 2 minutes of just hand pumping, and I don't know, I lost count, about 100 pumps, something like that. These aren't like full pumps. Okay, I think that's probably inflated enough. The mat also comes with a pillow, which is really cool. So before I go puncturing it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my little very thin woolen blanket that I've got here. It's more like a sort of sofa throw. Okay, so I put that down. Really, that's just to add a little bit of protection for the sleep mat. So inside this dry bag, I've got my trusty Mountain Warehouse extreme lightweight down, my bike packing sleeping bag that I use for most of my trips, unless the weather's really cold. Yeah, it's funny, psychologically, as soon as you start getting your sleeping bag out, suddenly it feels like home. Okay, so to protect the sleeping bag from the elements and any muck, I've got a bivvy bag. This is just a cheapie from Mountain Warehouse. I'm pretty near Malpensa Airport in Italy. I think I must be under one of the flight paths because there's always jets and planes going overhead. So I've used this before and it's a pretty good bivvy bag. I'm not using it to keep it waterproof, you know, I'm just using it to protect the sleeping bag. And of course, using this, it's also going to trap in a little bit of extra air, so it's going to keep that just that bit warmer. We're actually in February here in Italy, and temperatures at night plummet. So although the sun's out now, it's probably about 7 or 8 degrees, quite mild. During the morning and the night, it drops right down. Yesterday it was -2.5. A couple of days ago it was down to -5. So very, very cold. But the climate is so dry, there's very little moisture around. Well, yes, first impressions are good. That feels really quite comfortable. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's very snug. The kit that I've got on this trip, I just purchased locally for less than 50 euros. So this is not top quality gear. This is just to make do. But small hand axe. Foldable wood saw. And so far that has been the most important piece of kit that I've got on me. Really, really, really good. It's so useful. That's only about, I don't know, about a 20 centimeter blade, so I don't know, 6 to 8 inches at the most, but that's cutting pretty big diameter logs, because you can cut half and then twist the log and cut again. So invaluable bit of kit. That's a real cheapie from a Chinese market here. I think that cost me about 9 euros. There's my DD tarp that I just put up and showed you, but now that's going to go away. I've used up most of my twine already, so I've just got a little bit of twine left. I've got a few light sources, keyring light that I can hang up and I've also got one of these little pendant lights, gives 360 light, and actually this is incredibly bright. It's called a Lumo. Got that off Amazon for about £3.50. Yeah, this keyring one was about €5. I bought this light for working at night and making my videos. That was about 20 quid, so that was quite pricey. The good thing about this light is it's got a little stand, so this stand will allow me to put it on the ground and project the light where I want it at night time for nighttime videoing, or you can just hang it. Not very tactical. It's the kit. Just going to store that under there for a moment. I've also got a little billy can for cooking, and I'll bring some water and food, and I'll show you that on the evening that I come down to sleep. Okay, right, I better pack everything up now. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So as I say, I won't be coming back here for a couple of nights. I might just pop down and make a few improvements around the site. And today is Monday, and I should be back down here for Thursday evening. So 3 nights time. Well folks, thanks very much for joining me so far. Sorry I couldn't show you the construction of this woodland shelter. As I said, I put it up through the night, and I won't actually be staying here tonight, so I'll come back in a couple of nights time with my food and a few other little bits and pieces, cook a meal here, spend the night, and you're very much invited, so I'll be looking forward to sharing that with you. And until then, speak to you in a bit. Ciao. See you in a bit. Cheers.